guess where RPM is this week?
Yes, RPM this week, we're on the island that has become the home of road racing for the 5th round of the Toshiba Computers Irish Tarmac Rally Championship, an event in which we will see the clash of the champions, the Irish Tarmac champion versus a former British champion and the man who leads the 2002 Pirelli Series. But there are a few players missing. Neither Derek McGarity or Austin McHale, now out of a chance of overall Toshiba honours, have made the trip to the island. However, all the big World Rally Car players in the recent Jim Clark Rally are present. Eamon Boland in the S7 Subaru, Johnny Milner's Toyota Corolla, and the Jim Clark winner Andrew Nesbitt in the Cuisine de France Subaru are back to do battle over the 3-day 24-stage event. Like in most parts of Ireland and the UK, due to the foot and mouth outbreak, there was no Manx action in 2001. But now the fast ferries are gorging some gorgeous machines onto the mini-land, and the big wheels are turning again as the magnificent motorsporting history of the island resumes. Although the first competitive event, the 1904 Gordon Bennett Trial, was for cars, it's been the Tourist Trophy motorcycle races, which started in 1907, that have made the Isle of Man a world-famous venue. In 1913, there was a 52-mile-an-hour lap record. Now it stands at over 125 miles an hour. And amongst the legendary names that have conquered the greatest challenge in road racing, one rider, William Joseph Dunlop, stands head and shoulders above the rest.
Yes, the man from Armagh is the king of the island. And this island, which is probably better known for its two-wheel races, will be reverberating to the sound of four wheels this weekend, as once again the British and Irish championships come together for the Manx International Rally. Andrew Nesbitt has had an unprecedented 8 Toshiba Tarmac wins in succession, and he's the pro-drive prepared car that has brought him wins in Killarney and Scotland to play with. He's also now registered for both championships. Johnny Milner, who gave Andrew such a run on the Jim Clark, is in his Dynamics Toyota, and Mark Higgins returns to the British Series for his home event.
Right, 6 over straight, then, oh, what was that about? Come on, come on!
But not in the M Sport Focus, in which he won the Pirelli Rally with an extra revolution along the way, but in Davy Greer's privately entered Corolla.
Well, I don't think I've missed the rally now since '89, so I didn't really want to miss it this year.
And it is going to be a tough battle. I mean, Johnny Milner is doing so well in the British Championship, yet you've got the Irish now back on Isle of Man soil.
Yeah, Johnny's on a high, everything's going really well for him. Andrew's on a high, he's winning everything he's doing at the moment, so hopefully we can sort of split the pack and you know, set a new precedent. But we need a bit of luck. We've had a terrible season, everything's sort of gone against us so far, so hopefully this is our turning point and we can have a good run.
Former world champion and twice Manx winner Colin McRae is in Castletown to wave off his protege Chris Meek, who heads the Irish interest in the Super 1600 category. The Billy Coleman 2000 scholar Rory Galligan is at number 5 in the Works Peugeot. And Stuart Darcy, the 2001 Coleman winner, is hoping for a longer run than he had on the Jim Clark Rally, where the Stan Harper prepared Puma only made it to the first bend. The Super 1600 sweep the roads for the World Rally cars, so can Milner reap revenge for his Jim Clark Memorial Rally defeat? Or can Andrew Nesbitt possibly keep up his extraordinary string of successes on an event he has only taken part in once before? Eamon Boland is unlikely to get his first tarmac win in the NVD Impreza on this strange to him territory. And can young Robert Woodside star in his first Manx event in the Kenny McKinstry supplied World Rally car? Or will the 2000 winner Mark Higgins rub all their noses in his native soil?
They do not start things by half measures on this island, as the first stage is the longest of the rally. Johnny Milner is quick at 12 minutes 3.3 seconds, but the other Toyota is 14.6 seconds quicker. And that's despite Mark stalling the DGM Corolla on the start line. Mark means business in his efforts to turn around a rotten season at home and abroad. Andrew Andrew splits the Toyotas on the opening stage, but he is far from happy as the brake pedal is very soft in the Armagh driver's Subaru. And as you can see from James O'Brien's hand signals, that Limerick co-driver is somewhat concerned about the Impreza's stopping power in places. Eamon Boland has another new co-driver in Francis Regan this week. Stephen Petch's Hyundai Accent brings variety to the World Rally car field. And Robert Woodside looks extremely swift here, but he will become the first major retirement on the very first stage. The Peugeots lead the Super Dinkies. And Chris Meek may be being a little over-eager to impress his World Championship master, as the Dungannon lad has 2 spins on the first stages. Still, Colin often did worse in his early days. Rory Gallagher trails his teammate due to having a clutch problem. And Donegal's Stuart Darcy is also in Puma problems, but no doubt happy to be long past that first corner at this stage. The Group N hot favourite has never been in doubt. David Higgins is a sensational 4th overall after 2 stages. And as in Scotland, Alistair Ginley with Rory Kennedy on the notes is the next fastest in the showroom section, with Trevor Cathers just 2 seconds behind him.
Go. Absolute left 100.
The Killarney Group N winner, Donny O'Sullivan, who has Paul Nagel on the notes, is acquitting himself well on strange territory.
100. Right 1 over, jump 2, very narrow. This is the bad Titans, and you remember it? Jump 2. Right 2 gets very narrow after it. An absolute left and absolute right, and left 1 absolute.
But their twin Impreza, driven by Seamus Leonard, is in early trouble. The BioClear car catches the seamless aluminium example on the 2nd stage, when Seamus Leonard's car blows a turbo.
Right 1.
And Seamus obligingly lets Donny through.
60. Left 1. 100.
Roy White's new Evo 7 is also in turbo problems on the first stage, but both the Subaru and the Mitsubishi will be cured in service. Gary Jennings is out for the 3rd time in a Group N car, and of course his first visit to the island. We are now on board with some more Manx novices in the Donald & Ellis Group N Evo 6. Ex-racing driver Dickie Curran and his pal Gary Lyons are experiencing the superfast stages for the first time and surprised themselves with some very competitive times.
The Castletown town stage is one of the highlights of the rallying year, and as we go into darkness on the first day, Chris Meek and Glenn Patterson invite us aboard the Colin McRae Puma for a hair-raising run through closed roads of the historic town in the south of the island. Now for the harbour section. We're doing about 70 miles an hour over the bridge. Round the castle and into the packed town square. The short but spectacular test is over almost before it has begun. Mark Higgins, the local hero, is really producing the goods for the fans. After 5 stages, he's almost half a minute ahead. Mark was the last winner of the International, but in 2000 the event purely catered for the 2-litre Formula 2 kit cars. Andrew is second despite those early brake problems, and not too phased at this stage as he settles into the Manx event. Johnny Milner is fastest on the first run through Castletown, just 4 seconds down on the Subaru. But Eamon Boland is back in 6th place. Mark's brother David is making a magnificent Manx for native drivers as he leads Group N and is 4th overall. Jennings, like many of the top Group N runners, is heading for turbo problems. Donny O'Sullivan is also in engine trouble, and both of these top Irish Group N runners will be out by the end of the first day. Andrew, however, blitzes the opposition on the second Castletown run. So happy enough to be lying second after the start of day one?
For my second time on the island here, I'm happy enough, yeah.
But as Davy Greer's boys send the rally leader on his way, the Cuisine de France team are about to make a crucial mistake. Not realising that there's a strict departure time from service, they incur a 1 minute 50-second penalty, which drops them to third, nearly 2.5 minutes behind the leader. And the Group N leader is fourth overall, and the Super 1600 fifth.
On the second day of the Manx International Rally, the drivers wake up to their greatest fear of all, fog. Ice, rain and snow are all part of the rally challenge, but to go quickly in fog is either extremely brave or extremely foolhardy. On the 11.5 mile West Baldwin stage, Mark Higgins, guided by Craig Thorley, is fastest, and you can see the problem. At the Sarsfield hairpin the visibility was clear, but 2 miles further on in Brandywell it's treacherously murky. On the round table test south of St John's it's clear again. And if the fog doesn't catch you out, the saturated surface will. The Manx has been moved from its traditional September date in July in the hope of more clement weather. It's not working this year. Laser-eyed Milner is a fog hero. The plucky little Yorkshire driver is fastest over the mountain, with Higgins second and Andrew a further 3 seconds adrift. Nicky Beach is of course helping with the pace note information. Andrew now gives us a personal insight into driving in these conditions as the Subaru passes the stranded Guy Wilkes.
As you can see here, we're changing through the gears quite often. We're coming past Guy Wilkes. Conditions are absolutely terrible. The road's really wet, and as soon as we get through another few corners, we'll be straight back into the fog again. The most dangerous thing on the island is these cattle grids. You come into them so quickly. We're going to be arriving at one here at about 100 miles an hour. You just miss it. You've only 6 inches either side of the car to get through that, and quite an effort, I can assure you. Now we're going down this little tight section. We're going through a dip here at about 100 miles an hour. Quite hard on the car, very narrow roads, and all of a sudden back out onto the wide stretches again. Very, very slippy. Conditions in the Isle of Man really tests everyone. And the navigator, he plays a very big part, because the accuracy of his notes coming into these corners, particularly in the fog, must be very, very accurate, otherwise you're heading for a large accident.
Boland remains in 6th place, but significantly second fastest amongst the Toshiba registered runners. Justin Dale is 2 seconds ahead of him and leading the Super Brats from Rory Gallagher. But Chris Meek is having a troubled morning. The Puma would not start at the beginning of the stage, and in their haste to get going, they must have forgotten to secure the bonnet properly. Yeah. Good job that happened on a straight road. They struggled through West Baldwin with 1 bonnet pin securing the flapping hood, but the screen has been cracked. Rain, fog and a cracked screen are not a nice combination. And that's Rory Gallagher off on the right. The damage on Rory's 206 shows where he's been in the ditch. The Oldcastle driver has lost over 10 minutes. And the clutch on Stuart Darcy's Puma is also on the way out. David Higgins and Daniel Barrett are now 23 seconds in front of their Group N rivals. Alistair Ginley and Rory Kennedy drift their Evo 7 into second in the category, with Trevor Cathers and Desi Wilson a further 8 seconds adrift in their aging Evo 5.
16 still left for tight 3 right.
But they are now less than 2 seconds in front of our Manx novices, Curran and Lyons. The varying conditions can be dramatically seen in these pictures. 1 minute fog and mist, and on the next stage it's clear. For Dickie to be unvetting Cather's pace is a credit to him and equally to his inexperienced navigator Gary Lyons. After 7 stages, they're in 9th place overall. Those 2 early turbo victims, Seamus Leonard and Roy White, are fighting back. Both are now inside the top 20 and climbing. Steady, Roy. But local Stephen Quinn and the rally's former clerk of the course, Richard Skinner, are in bigger bother. Richard's inspection leads to some makeshift repairs as class leader Aisling Doris goes through. But Stephen realises it's all over and the pair will shortly retire. Chris Meek is in a big hurry to make back time. Too big as his speed through the swollen ford just north of St John's will prove. As we see from Gordon Dunn's pictures, he's damaged the Puma.
We came into a water splash, and obviously with the amount of rain today it's been a lot deeper than we've seen on the recce, and we came into going from 2nd to 1st gear. Whatever way we hit the water, it's just pushed the radiator back, and we decided to stop before we'd done any more damage, you know.
That Ford is in full flood and needs to be treated with caution. However, Mark Higgins gives the photographers just what they've been waiting for in the car wash. The leading Pirelli-backed Toyota is now over half a minute ahead. But Johnny has far from given up the fight, as he needs those points to retain his British Championship lead. Now let's try that Ford from inside. The lead is now out of reach for the Cuisine de France team, so it seems sensible to settle for a maximum Toshiba points and keep the ever-shadowing Boland at arm's length.
Day 2 finishes with another town centre showpiece in Ramsey, where Ollie O'Donovan is enjoying one of his last bachelor weekends. Andrew, never being one to resist a bit of showmanship, puts on a big show for the weary punters and set fastest times on both runs through the town. And as the light fades, he even gobbles up some of the slower runners along the way.
I suppose the quicker we get round them, the quicker we'll get to the bar.
Johnny, trying as he is, has pinned the Higgins advance to that half minute, and with 60 stage miles still to come, anything can happen. But it's been a great second day for the Higgins family, with Mark continuing to lead the rally and David dominating the Group N race. Amongst the historic runners, Manxman Martin Freestone is the post-historic winner in his Mark 1 Escort. The historic prize goes to Mervyn Johnson, and Alan Courtney makes his return from Brazil worthwhile to take second in his GT Cortina. The Manx Trophy for modified cars was led for most of the event by Donegal's Eugene Ferry. Day 3 of the Manx International Rally, and it's that fog hazard again for the 34 remaining cars. Mark Higgins and Craig Thorley continue as they left off for their masterclass over the roads on which Mark was reared. But the Toyota duel is about to come to an end. By the 20th of the 24 stages, Andrew Nesbitt and James O'Brien are up into second, albeit almost 4 minutes behind the leader. They're heading towards maximum tarmac points, but this time the Irish champion has to concede to the British Series opposition. Andrew's second place has come because of Milner's troubles. The Yorkshire driver has had to run through the Baldoon stages without 4th, 5th and 6th gears, and all the Dynamics team can now hope for is a finish. And here's someone who's finished the Manx more times than he can remember, Class 1 winner Harry Cathcart. Harry, I believe there is some dispute about how many Manx rallies you have actually done. How many do you think?
I honestly don't know. I started back in '72 But then I missed a few somewhere in the middle, but I've been doing them in the last 15 or 18 and continuous then.
The Fermanagh veteran, after all these years, still has not learned how to deal with the notorious Manx fog.
I think they say it's going, I just can't drive in the fog. But no, it was grand. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Aisling Doris and Wendy Blackledge again take the ladies' prize, and this time the Class 5 award. After Jim Clark Rally Class winner Alan Spears comes to grief on stage 22, but still manages to finish. Desi Keenan and Enda Sherry are the Class 6 winners. And Donegal's Jared Sharkey wins Class 7.
But Dickie Curran and Gary Lyons, while in 9th place, have an abrupt end to their Manx adventure. However, cool as a cucumber, Dickie D. Riggs are on board camera to record the modifications to his Mitsubishi. Maybe like the current ad, he wants it to look like a Peugeot. Dickie even encourages Roy White to press on to some useful tarmac championship points in the FESP car. Roy is now in 2nd place in Group N in the series. Seamus Leonard recovers to 14th overall. And with Stuart Darcy and Rory Gallagher now reduced to spectating, we chart the top 10 finishers.
Steve Petch and John Richardson finished 10th in the Hyundai.
Robert Watson and Sean Crellin are 4th in Group N and 9th overall.
Trevor Cathers and Desi Wilson make it to 3rd in Group N and 3rd equal in the Toshiba.
Alistair Gidley and Rory Kennedy are runners-up in Group N in their Evo 7.
Super 1600 Justin Dale and Andrew Bargery finished 6th overall.
Eamon Boland and Francis Regan take the runner-up honours in the Toshiba points.
David Higgins and Daniel Barrett dominate Group N again and have held 4th place throughout the rally.
And Johnny Milner and Nicky Beach are heartbroken to drop to 3rd, but overjoyed to finish.
And Andrew Nesbitt and James O'Brien nearly have a last-minute mishap on the second last stage on their way to maximum tarmac points. Well, Andrew, it wasn't to be overall, but you at least got the Toshiba points.
Yes, we came here to try and get maximum points for the Toshiba Tarmac Championship, and we've achieved that, so we're very pleased. And we've also finished 2nd overall.
For Mark Higgins and Craig Torley, it's a big signal to the works teams to say, I have the talent to go to the top. Please, please take notice. Despite maximum scores on all 4 rounds, it is still mathematically possible for Eamon Boland to win the Tarmac Series, with 3 rounds still to go. We've seen an Irish winner in Scotland, an Englishman triumph on the Isle of Man. Who will come out tops on the Ulster?
Well, this time it wasn't to be the luck of the Irish. However, the next time the 2 championships come together will be on home soil at the Ulster.